Every year it seems the anticipation for hunting season grows and grows. Especially in 2020, a year of a worldwide pandemic, the itch to get outside was really strong. Like most years, we put out cameras in the summer and the pics start pouring in. Good buck after good buck had us counting down the days to October 1st. Typically, as we're looking through these pics, we start to put together a target list for the year. But 2020 was unique in the sense that despite having multiple really nice deer on camera, there was one deer in particular I had my sights set on.
Jackpot, 200 yards, tending to a doe.
So just gonna warn you right now, this video is gonna be a little bit of a teaser. Not gonna go through the entire story and history of this buck I call Jackpot, but wanted to show you at least a few highlights from the season that gives you a peek at my thought process throughout the year. This year we had some nice cold fronts in early October, so I was able to sneak out a couple times and see some good deer. And highlighted by one pretty nice 8-pointer, I'd guess a 3 or 4-year-old that came right underneath my stand one morning. Unfortunately, it wasn't the buck that I was after. The middle part of October was quiet, which isn't uncommon for that time of year. But fast forward to October 26th, we had a really nice cold front, one of the first snows of the year. It had things really moving.
It's October 26th, evening hunt, about 4 p.m. Just got set up a little bit ago. Already some good activity. 4 deer so far. I had a doe and a fawn in the standing corn here to the west of me. Little spike came cruising through the corn as well, and then I just saw a pretty decent buck cruising. It's pretty far away, about 350 yards, but looked to be maybe about a 130. So that's a good sign. It's only 4 o'clock, so got a north wind, about 28 degrees. The wind's probably 8 to 10 miles an hour right now, so chilly but comfortable, high pressure day. Feel really good about the deer moving this evening. Last night, I had a picture of Jackpot on my cell camera that is about 300 yards straight north of me on the same fence line. He looks really good. He's easily 200 inches, well over that. I'd be guessing if I said it any more accurately. Big bodied deer. He always seems to come in this area in the middle of October. This is now the 3rd year in a row he showed up. And coincidentally, it's almost always when there's snow. Got a little dusting of snow overnight, so got some good visibility, and just gonna sit tight here and hope for the best. just getting ready to climb down. It's about 6:55. Had a great sit tonight. Saw the number 2 buck on this farm. He was at about 80 yards here. I got some good footage. He's a great deer, but right now my sights are really set on getting this deer called Jackpot. I think I saw 7 bucks tonight and a handful of does. Another fun sit.
This was the first opportunity where I really had to think hard about what my strategy was going to be for the year. I think this buck would have committed had I gotten a little bit more aggressive. The deer that I thought was probably in the mid-70s, I had plenty of pictures. But on October 26th, still plenty of time left in the season, I knew I was sticking to my plan. So the end of October, there was a ton of activity with that cold front. But that first part of November ended up being a little bit more challenging. We had warmer temps and really high winds. So I really didn't hunt a whole lot from November 1st to November 10th. It was November 11th when I got back in the stand, and that's when things got really eventful.
It's November 11th, a little after 8 a.m. Morning sit. Came back to one of my favorite spots this morning. Chilly morning, frosty, about 25 degrees. Got a 10 to 15 mile an hour southwest wind, which is ideal for this spot. Really like this spot. It's where I shot my buck the last 2 years. Just a little timber pocket where the stand sits with a bigger timber to the north, CRP and standing corn to the west, and then a smaller timber pocket to the south. I'm going to try to stick it out all day. Throw on the heater bodysuit just to be nice and comfortable here. It's supposed to be warming up to close to 35, 40 degrees. It's supposed to lay down nicely tonight, so I feel pretty optimistic about today. November 11th is always good. It's about 4 o'clock, a little over an hour left until we call it a day. Been getting some reports from some friends that people have been seeing and killing some nice bucks today, so still feel pretty good. The wind's supposed to lay down here right at the end of the night, and hoping something can happen here in this last hour or so. Jackpot, 200 yards, tending to a doe. was getting ready to climb down. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have called at all. I think the grunt and snort wheeze got his attention, but when that doe didn't really want anything to do with that, he just followed her away. Thought it was my best chance as it was getting dark. Had to try something. Nevertheless, just laying eyes on a deer like that was pretty darn cool.
So after seeing this deer on the hoof, I knew he was the one I wanted. The problem I had was the farm I had permission to hunt was just an 80-acre farm. And of that 80 acres, about 50 to 60 of it was cut beans, mostly ag land with a couple small timber pockets. So there really wasn't a whole lot of adjustments or offense that I could play. I knew that there wasn't a ton of bedding on the 80 acres that I had permission to hunt. He probably wasn't living on that piece, but he was passing through it quite frequently. Having only a couple small timber pockets to hunt, I didn't want to overpressure the area, but at the same time didn't want to waste time in other spots too. But just to keep my sanity, I had hunted a nearby farm a handful of times on and off through the end of November, seen a ton of really nice deer, one really nice 10-pointer in particular.
Pretty eventful morning so far. Seen several bucks, couple does, one really nice tall narrow 10, a buck that now it's the third time I've seen him. I saw that deer the night of the 13th, 4 days ago. I have a stand about 600 yards south of here, and he was up tending to a doe, made a scrape, and then he actually made his way this way. So I think his general area in the morning is kind of down here in these cedars, and then he kind of makes his way midday over that way to the south.
So as much as we love sweet November and the rut, it can really be a grind. You know you got to be out there as much as possible anytime it can happen. So rain, snow, or shine, I was out there as much as possible. The issue with that is sometimes that rut that you look forward to so much becomes somewhat of a grind. But I kind of had that constant back and forth of, okay, am I really going to stick to this deer, or should I relax my standards a bit? We have a lot of other nice deer on the farm. Would one of those make sense? Add in the fact that you got the shotgun seasons approaching as you get towards the end of November, you start developing a little bit of angst on what's the correct thing to be doing. So the shotgun seasons came and went. No news is good news, I guess. To my knowledge, nobody got the deer during the shotgun seasons. I always hunt the late muzzleloader season, so I still had time on the clock. Both had my late archery tag and my late muzzleloader tag. As the season drew down, the late season hunts were really, really good ones. I saw a ton of deer, and really what I come to find out was, as much as I wanted to get a nice buck, it was pretty obvious some doe management was needed. So on December 30th, that's exactly what I set out to do, a little doe management.
December 30th, it's about 3 o'clock. Just got set up for the evening sit here. Decided to come to the Redneck Blind this evening. Got a bunch of snow yesterday, about 6 inches. I sat 2 nights ago about a half mile just south of here. Saw a ton of deer, and all of them kind of filtered this way on this top ridge. Around the blind, I got a standing bean field. It doesn't look like too many beans left on here, but just with the snow ending last night, there's already a ton of tracks in here. So it's about 25 degrees, about 10 mile an hour west-northwest wind. So everything's kind of blowing my right to my left the way I'm set up here. A little bit unorthodox tonight. I have my bow and my muzzleloader with me. I got both tags yet, so with all the deer I saw the other night, I'm hoping if I can get a doe early on, I might take a chance with my bow and then hold on for a buck with my muzzleloader. It kind of feels like a long shot doing all that and trying to self-video as well, but you just never know. Deer cast says great. Hoping it holds true. Most of the time it's right.
Right.
I think that was a good hit. I was stuck, drawn back forever. She turned and faced me. Right as I drew back, had to hold it for 30 seconds to a minute. I think that was a good shot. I could see some blood on her side. I had to switch windows here, so wasn't able to get back on her till she ran around to the west here, so we'll watch that footage back, make sure that was a good hit, and grab the muzzleloader. Hope something happens tonight. Got the heart pumping. That's what we were hoping for. I'm gonna close this window back up. I shot out of this corner window here. It's really good blood in the snow. Try to show it here. Got a full pass through. I believe that was a good hit. I'm gonna stay quiet. Either another big doe I'll whack with my muzzy, or hopefully a shooter buck can come in here. My archery tag is filled and illegal shooting here. Still got a few does out in the field. I just texted the farmer. He's gonna come with his ranger, and I don't believe that she went very far. We'll track her and load her up and get her cleaned up.
There's the blood there at impact. Bleeding pretty good. Redneck's just right up there. 25-yard shot. Good blood here. Spraying pretty good here in the snow. Started stumbling here. Slid here. Almost made it off the field. Here she is. Could definitely tell after shooting her why we want to shoot some of these does here, because there's just a ton of deer. But big old mature doe, not exactly how you draw it up when you think about what you're going to put your bow tag on for the year, but it's been a great season for sure, and I'm happy to put my tag on her.